Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida L076508, Georgia 69178, Idaho MLO 208023796, Illinois 031.0058339, Missouri, North Carolina I210940, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
She's a mortgage mom. She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. Pick up the phone and call mom.
All right, so welcome to Mortgage Mom Radio. I'm Debbie Marcoux. I am the Mortgage Mom. And today we're going to be talking about what we think is going to happen next week. The Federal Reserve does have a meeting on Wednesday next week. They will start their meeting on Tuesday, and they will meet Tuesday and Wednesday and make a decision as to whether or not they plan to hold rates steady or whether they plan to cut rates or possibly increase rates. So what is going to happen? And I want to talk to you guys about that. And I'm going to also read a couple of articles for you so that you can get an idea of what is going on. We've had some pretty disappointing numbers that came out just today. I believe actually it was yesterday for the GDP was actually much lower than expected. The inflation numbers came out and they actually came out flat, which was really good. We didn't, increase like we did in February. So it's starting to show a little bit of economic instability, which could very much start, the interest rates moving. And why would they move? So we're going to talk about that. The first thing that I want to do, though, is I want to make sure that my text message gets out to everybody. I did set that up to go out at 1:15. I do not see that it's gone out yet. I'm not exactly sure why not. So I'm going to run a very, very quick commercial. This is for my son's company, River Moms. It's rvrmoms.com. They've got some great t-shirts. I'm wearing another one today that he created. It says, "I left my liver at the river," which we all know when we go out and we go boating, there can be some heavy drinking that takes place. So I'm going to run a very quick commercial just so that I can make sure that that text message gets out and that anybody that wants to join has the opportunity to jump on. But then we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into these articles and we're going to talk about how the expectation and the anticipation can start to quickly breed possibly a quick rate drop. It could also quickly change things and go the opposite or the wrong direction. So we're going to talk about things that we're going to be looking for next Wednesday. And then, of course, you guys can jump on with me next Wednesday to find out what the decision was. So with that, we're going to run this super quick commercial. And when I get back, I'm going to dive into the articles and then we're going to talk about them. So stay tuned. Here we go.
Oh, is it time to go for a ride? Hold, please. Let me grab a few Road Sodies to go. Our newest collection, Road Sodies, is a tribute to all of those die-hard passengers enjoying the dunes and mud while the captain does all the work. We have tees, hoodies, and hats to help you show off your style. This design just launched. Be the first to grab yours today and show up to your next adventure in style. rvrmoms.com.
All right, so welcome back. So let's jump into those articles, and I'm going to read them for you. So this is actually from Kiplinger, which I believe is a very good place to get your information from. I find that it's not biased in any way. It really is very straight to the point. So I do like to read the information that they do put out. So they've got it, and you guys can go to their website, obviously. So I'm not going to discredit anybody. This was written by Kareev Venema, and it was last updated just 3 hours ago. And the headline says, "May Fed meeting, live updates and commentary." So again, I want you guys to be able to find this, and I want to give credit where credit is due. But I felt the way that this was written was very good, and it was something that could be very understood for everybody listening. So it says, the May Fed meeting kicks off next Tuesday, May 6th, and concludes on Wednesday, May the 7th, with the central bank's latest policy decision. However, Wall Street will be parsing the FOMC statement and Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell's press conference closely, looking for clues as to how President Donald Trump's aggressive tariff policy could impact the central bank's decisions moving forward. The Kiplinger team is reporting live on the May Fed meeting, bringing you the news and our expert analysis of what it could mean for the economy and your money. So remember, you guys can go to their website and you can watch and you can continue to monitor. Like I said, it really is a great platform. So how will the March PCE report impact the Fed's interest rate decision? So we just got that PCE report today. So let's talk about that. In March, both headline PCE and core PCE, which excludes volatile food and energy costs, were flat month over month, a slower pace than what was seen in February. Year over year, headline PCE rose 2.3%, faster than the 2.1% increase economists expected. Core PCE also came in higher than anticipated at 2.6%. So they were actually expecting that to be 2.5% today, and it came in at 2.6%. The data also showed a sharp uptick in consumer spending, 0.7% in March versus 0.1% in February. So you guys have heard me say year over year now for the last 3 years, I keep telling you, stop spending money. The more consumer spending that we do, the stronger that the economy appears to be, even though many of you are spending money on credit cards and buying things that maybe aren't really affordable, or you're trying to just keep up, your spending, consumer spending is actually up, and it should not be. The inflation report, coupled with this morning's disappointing GDP figures, creates significant pressure on the Federal Reserve ahead of next week's crucial policy meeting. Hernandez adds that while markets have priced in no change to interest rates at the next Fed meeting, today's mixed economic signals introduce fresh uncertainty into the equation. So basically, we were expecting inflation to come in, the core PCE, at 2.5%, and instead it actually came in at 2.6%, with consumer spending actually being elevated beyond where we expected it to be from where February's numbers were. So if we had come in at the same consumer spending at the 0.1% in February, and the core PCE came in at the 2.5%, which was expected, with the low GDP figures, that could have very well shaken up what the Federal Reserve's decision next Wednesday is, as far as, are they still going to continue to hold the interest rates high and steady, or would they have possibly done a rate cut for us? Now it's a mixed bag. GDP came in not great. Gross domestic product came in not looking good. But then consumer spending is up, and our inflation is up a little bit higher than what was anticipated. Now, we all know that these reports come out and then all of a sudden things get revised. And so next month we might get a revision that says, oh, it really wasn't as good as what we thought in some of those numbers. So keep that in mind as well. So according to the CME Fed Watch, future traders are currently pricing in a 94% chance the FOMC holds rates steady next Wednesday. The odds for a June rate cut are at 60%. So what this article is saying is that they're expecting that they will possibly cut those rates come June. But they're still expecting the Fed to hold rates steady at next week's meeting on Wednesday. So I can see my dad jumps on, my biggest fan, and says, hi. And why not jumped on and said, good Wednesday afternoon, Debbie and everyone. So why not? Thanks so much for joining. And this is a good show. So I'm giving you guys some background and some understanding of things that can shake the market and can move our interest rates fairly quickly. So just as I talked about a couple of weeks ago, we had a very quick dip in interest rates about 3 Fridays back, and it lasted for about 24 hours. And anybody that was already in the works and getting an application started or was possibly already in the pipeline, they took advantage of that quick dip, and they locked in. And since that time, interest rates have actually gone up. And I have not been able to offer those same interest rates again to anybody else that has done an application over the last couple of weeks. Now, realize that we can wait to lock in an interest rate. For a purchase loan, typically you're in escrow for about 30 days. We need to lock in that interest rate at least 7 days prior to closing your loan. So we could actually float that interest rate for about 21 days in a purchase transaction. So it gives us time to continue to watch the market and try to do the best that we can to try to time as much as can be timed, the best time to actually hit that button. Now, for a refinance, you can get that application started and we can literally sit and we can wait to lock in that interest rate. And once we hit that button, we could be closed within 7 days. So if we're doing all of the work up front and we're getting that loan application underwritten and escrow opened and the title report ordered, and if there's an appraisal required, we're getting that going, we can get all of that footwork and all of that done before we hit a button. And then we can sit and we can wait to take advantage of the rate that we want for the payment that we want. But let's get back to what is going on with the markets. So right now they are anticipating that the Fed will not cut rates on Wednesday next week. So all of the rate sheets that we have right now that we are getting as lenders are in anticipation that interest rates will not be cut. So if they do cut interest rates on Wednesday, we could very quickly see things change. Now, what direction will they change? That's a big, huge question mark. I can tell you that over all of the years that I have been doing this, I have seen many, many times where they have cut the rate and then interest rates have gotten better. So think about back to 2020 when the Fed brought the interest rates down to near zero. We all of a sudden interest rates dropped significantly and everybody was jumping on the train to purchase homes and refinance their interest rates and get lower monthly payments, pull out cash, get some debt consolidated. We went absolutely crazy when they made the decision to do that. But the majority of all of the Fed meetings that we've had, when they have actually cut interest rates for whatever reason that it may be, we've actually seen interest rates have the opposite effect and we've seen interest rates get worse. Now, we've also seen them increase the Federal Reserve prime rate and we've seen interest rates get better. We've also seen them hold the rate steady, which was what was anticipated. And because the decision that was made was the anticipated decision, we actually saw interest rates go down. So next Wednesday could be a very big move in the market for the better or for the worse. I'm going to anticipate, I'm going to give you the mortgage mom's viewpoint on it. I believe that if they hold interest rates steady as anticipated, I do think that we're going to actually see a little bit of a rally with interest rates. I think we will see things get a little bit better. But I think that the reason that we're going to see things get a little bit better are going to be exactly what I read to you in the article, a couple minutes ago, that they are the investors in the market are going to be heavily, heavily listening to the Federal Reserve statement and the question and answers that they do after the fact, the press conference. They're going to be dissecting and pulling apart every word. They're going to be hanging on everything that Jerome Powell has to say in that meeting, because the anticipation right now is 60% are feeling that June is going to be the next rate cut that we could see. So they're going to be dissecting the words that are coming out of his mouth. What is going to happen? How are they going to prepare to gamble with their money in the market based on the things that he says? And I do absolutely agree. My anticipation, my expectation is that come Wednesday, they will not cut the rate. I don't believe that we've shown economic reports yet that would indicate that we are in a position of disaster, that they would need to hurry up and do something to try to stimulate the economy, to stop it from going into a tailspin. But I do think that we are starting to see numbers like the GDP number that came out that was not very good at all. It was actually quite weak. I do think that we're starting to see those numbers that are going to create a need for the Federal Reserve to not be able to stay stingy and keep those interest rates higher for longer. So I do truly believe that we will see a rate cut come June. When they make that rate cut, that doesn't necessarily mean that mortgage rates are going to drop automatically. Like I said, in the 30 years that I've been doing this, many, many times when we see them cut the rate, we actually see our interest rates get worse. Interest rates do go up. Now, again, these are initial reactions, right? When I say that. So a statement comes out, a meeting comes out, a decision gets made, a press conference is held. There's knee-jerk reactions that happen within the market. And sometimes we'll see those interest rates get worse, maybe for a week, maybe for 2 weeks, maybe sometimes for longer. Sometimes it's a day or two, and then all of a sudden things start to settle down. But just keep in mind that just because there is a rate cut does not necessarily mean that mortgage interest rates are going to immediately drop with that rate cut. And the fact that they would hold the rate steady, and that is what's anticipated by at least 90% of the analysts out there. I do think that if they hold that decision and they make any mention whatsoever in the Federal Reserve press conference that it appears that there could be a rate cut coming soon, I do think that we're going to see a very good reaction in our rate sheets, and we could get a very quick knee-jerk reaction that could possibly put many of my clients that have been on the border of wanting to get a rate locked in, get a refinance started, or they're under contract currently in escrow, or they're out shopping for a property and writing offers. I think it could be a very good opportunity for someone to be able to lock in. So make sure that you guys do tune into my show next Wednesday. I'm going to tell you, the show might be a little bit late. I may not do it until 2 p.m. instead of 1 p.m. So just wait for your text message. If you don't get my text messages, make sure that you opt in to get them. So text the word LIVE, LIVE, to 844-935-3634. That's 844 We Lend for You, WELEND, and the number 4. Make sure that you guys are opted in to get the text message so that you do not miss me. Like I said, I may end up getting on 1:30 or 2 o'clock. I want to be able to get the Fed's decision, and I want to be able to watch the entire press conference. And then I want to be able to see what is happening in the market, because obviously our interest rates do change, not just daily, but sometimes they will change multiple times in a day, depending on how much that the market is moving. So I want to be able to have that really good data for you to be able to bring you that information that is accurate. How is the market responding? What are we seeing in the interest rates? And, what did the press conference say? And now what should we be anticipating for come June? So make sure that you guys do opt yourselves in to get that text message. Josie jumped on and said, glad to be able to connect. Thank you, always bringing your most transparent information. And it is my absolute pleasure. And thank you so much, Josie, for jumping on. I want to remind everybody, this is an interactive show. So if you have a question, even if it's not about the topic of the day, this is your opportunity to be able to ask those questions if you're not quite ready to pick up the phone. If you want to pick up the phone and you want to talk to me, it's the same phone number that you text the word live to opt yourself in. It is the same number to call my office. So it's 844-935-3634. And again, that's 844 We Lend for You, WELEND, and the number 4. I would highly, highly suggest, if you have been thinking about doing a refinance, if you have been thinking about buying a home, that you guys get your applications started, get them in the system. Go to my website. You'll see apply now, do the application. If you want to talk to me first, I would love that. If you want to jump on a Google Meet with me, let's do it. So go to my website, mortgagemomradio.com. There is an appointment button there. Click it, pick the day and time that works best for you. I'm going to call you at that time. If you would like to join, with a Google Meet so that you can see my screen and you can see numbers as I run them, always happy to do that with you. So I can send you over a link and you can jump on with me. But this is a great time, you guys. Many of you lost the opportunity to lock in an interest rate. I can only work so fast when we get those quick, fast jumps in the market before it's gone and it's expired. I can only call so many people. So get the application started. I've got today, it's Wednesday. I have 7 days to talk to you, get your application, review it, put it in the system, and have you sitting there on standby ready for me to click a button. So please do not miss your opportunity to get your rate locked in if we get that kind of market on that day. Or even if that day is doing great, then we might wait until the next day. And if the next day is doing great and still improving, we may wait till the next day. I'm going to wait to lock you in until I see things flatten out and appear that they're going to start to move the wrong direction. So I want you guys to not miss anything, but I also want you to get and take advantage of the very best interest rates that we can while we're within a window. So why not ask, even with salaries in question and or no property in mind, do you suggest beginning an application? So why not? I would actually suggest for somebody who has salary in question, not quite sure if they're going to be able to apply, they want to buy a house, they're not sure of a game plan, I would highly suggest a phone conversation with me. So get on my website and schedule a call and let's talk about you. Where are you at? What are you working on? Are you self-employed? Have you started the self-employment yet? Are you working currently but planning to change positions or planning to change jobs? That's a very open question. And I would highly suggest that we have a conversation about you and, or the person that you're asking for. I would say let's have a conversation about where are you at in your process and is this the time for you to do the application? If you are someone who, has already talked to the loan officer, you've done a loan before, you already own a home, your employment is steady, your credit score is in great shape, go to the website and apply. If you are unsure of whether or not an application makes sense, maybe, you don't think that you should do a refinance right now. Maybe you think a home equity line of credit might be better. Maybe you're, you feel like your credit might be a little bit sketchy. For anybody at all that just has a question mark, regardless of what the question mark is, go to my website and book an appointment to talk with me or to talk with Heather or to someone on my team. But make sure you get an appointment. Let's talk. Don't put it off until you hear interest rates are down and now you guys are behind and now you've missed your window or your opportunity. So why not gives me the thumbs up. And, with that, it was a pretty simple show. I just wanted to get you guys all prepared for next week. I want to make sure that you are all watching the show, that you're opted in, you get the link, you get the text message. If you've been thinking about doing financing, you get an appointment with me this coming week, tomorrow, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. You guys have time, even Saturday or Sunday. My office, we are open to speak with you. So we are here to help. If you do not see a day or time on the meeting calendar that you can book yourself that works for you, so if you need an evening appointment or an earlier morning appointment, please do not hesitate to hit the Contact Us button. And I would be happy to email back and forth with you, find a time that works for us together, and we're going to book it. So if you need an evening appointment after work, or you need a Monday appointment, or you need a Saturday or Sunday, that is absolutely doable. So my mother-in-law, Karen, gets on. She says, thank you. So I would have to say between her and my dad, they probably fight it out over who are my biggest fan. And thank you so much. I love you for always getting on and always watching and listening. And you're very welcome. I love bringing you guys information every week. Vince jumped in and he said, who would I talk to about doing owner? So I'm not exactly sure. Maybe specify a little bit more. I'm not exactly sure what you mean about that. Who would I talk to about doing owner? So I don't know if you mean owner financing. Maybe you're trying to do, are you trying to sell a house and you want to hold the paper for somebody? You're trying to buy a house. Somebody's trying to offer you to do theirs. Owner finance. So I can answer a lot of questions for you about owner finance. So if you'd like to schedule a meeting with me, please feel free to do that. Again, you guys, it's mortgagemomradio.com and you'll see the appointment button. Vince, please don't hesitate. feel free to schedule an appointment to speak with me. I can give you a lot of information about owner financing, but that truly comes down to the person that owns the home and is willing to offer you the financing. So the terms of owner financing are going to be very, very specific to the particular owner that owns the house that's willing to do the financing for you. But I would be happy to give you a lot of information and, typically how it works and how you might be able to find those opportunities. So please feel free to schedule a call with me. So just like I said, if you guys want to ask a question that it was not necessarily the topic of the day, please feel free to do so. That is what this show is for. Please give me a thumbs up if you guys like the show. Please spread the love. Share the show with your friends and your family. If anybody that you know is looking to buy, sell, or get financing, refinance, reverse mortgage, purchase financing, home equity lines of credit, a second mortgage, I am here. That is what we do. That is what we are here to help you with. So once again, you can call my office at 844-935-3634. That's 844-WE-LEND-FOR-YOU, WELEND, and the number 4. You can head over to my website at mortgagemomradio.com. And you guys can also opt in to get the text message once a week. You can opt your friends in, tell them to do the same. Text the word live to 844-935-3634 and get my phone app on your phone, the Tools app. So there's obviously, if you go to the app store and you type in Mortgage Mom Radio, that is my app for an application that is in process. But if you want my Tools app, you want to be able to send me an email, call my office, run numbers, affordability calculator, purchase calculators, refinance calculators, and you want to see mortgage insurance, property taxes, homeowners insurance. You want to see all of that, a real honest number of what a payment might look like. Get my Tools app. And how do you do that? So the same number that you call me, the same number that you opt in to get your link to join the show is the same number to get the Tools app. So text phone app, PHONE, and then APP. So 2 words, phone app. Text phone app to 844-935-3634. I hope you guys all enjoyed today. I hope I brought you guys up to speed. I hope you're ready to join me next Wednesday to find out what happens. And I hope that if you need to get a refinance done or you've been looking to purchase a home and you've been waiting for a quick dip in the market, I hope you guys all get your application started. I will talk to you all real soon. I'll be back next Wednesday. I hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.
Debbie Marcoux is licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act, NMLS ID 237926. Also licensed in Arizona 0941504, Florida L076508, Georgia 69178, Idaho MLO 208023796, Illinois 031.0058339, Missouri, North Carolina I210940, Nevada 57237, Oregon, Tennessee 184373, Texas, Washington MLO 237926.
She's the mortgage mom. She can get things done when you're in need and don't know where to go. Pick up the phone and call mom.